When love becomes a sinister trap, discover the haunted secrets of unexplained revenge. Emily had always believed in the simplicity of her life, a job, a routine, and her daughter, Jamie. But everything changed when the Caldwells moved in next door. Caleb Caldwell was different. With his devil-may-care grin and charming ways, he pulled Jamie into a whirlwind of youthful crushes and late-night whispering. At first, Emily was relieved. If only she knew the darkness bubbling underneath Caleb's perfect facade. One stormy night, as Emily wiped down the counter at the diner, the wind outside howled like a wild beast. She brushed it off, mentally counting her tips and planning the upcoming groceries. When she got home, the air flickered with anticipation, but something felt off. Jamie's bedroom door stood ajar. Muffled laughter echoed from within, brushing against her nerves like icy fingers. Emily crept closer, heart racing. Upon entering, she froze. Jamie was sprawled on the bed, phone in hand, a faint glow illuminating her face. What struck Emily were the half-whispered words slipping past her daughter's lips in her sleep. "Caleb, please." Suddenly, the phone buzzed. Emily picked it up, and her blood ran cold. "Meet me in the woods tonight. You're mine, Jamie. Forever." The text sent a jolt through her veins. This wasn't normal teenage love, it screamed possessive. How could a boy so charming carry such a sinister edge? As Emily gripped the phone, the room darkened, shadows pooling like liquid dread around her. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows like ominous rapacious spirits. Delirium turned the walls into serpents, coiling tighter as dread nestled in her stomach. She needed to know more about Caleb. "Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." Emily dove down a rabbit hole of urban legends and online whispers. Tales of restless spirits stirred in the still air. The Caldwells' family ties were marred with misfortune, betrayal, and rumored hauntings. One legend described how a beautiful garden had once flourished on their land, before a terrible tragedy turned it into a haven for sorrow. Each story dripped with dread, unraveling tales of vengeance that gnawed at her sanity. That night, as Emily lay on her bed, sleep became elusive. The shadows danced across the walls, morphing into twisted faces that seemed to grin at her. She glanced at a family photo, Jamie's innocent smile capturing fleeting joy. But it felt tainted now. It was all too real, too close. The whispers caught on the winds and unseen eyes watching from their porch, sending shivers down her spine. Days turned into nightmares, each heartbeat echoing the dread that wrapped itself around her like a vice. Shadows crept deeper into their lives, transforming the once mundane into a threadbare tapestry of terror. And just as Emily thought she'd hit rock bottom, one evening, Caleb appeared at her doorstep, his smile sharp and predatory, a hint of something dark lurking behind those sparkling eyes. She'd never felt so trapped. As the door swung wide in the flicker of a dying streetlight, Emily held her breath, trapped between the world she knew and the dark descent of her daughter's heart where love transformed into a sinister trap. Would she be able to save Jamie before it was too late? The answer loomed heavily in the air, a chilling specter waiting to reveal itself. Caleb's smile was a mask, and inside, Emily felt the icy grip of panic tighten. Every instinct screamed at her to slam the door shut, to rip Jamie away from this boy, from the perilous allure of his charm. Yet, she stood frozen, tethered to the darkness pooling in her heart. "Hi, Mrs. Taylor," Caleb's voice dripped with feigned innocence. "Is Jamie home?" She wanted to tell him to leave, to never come back. But then there was her daughter trapped in this web he had spun around her. "She's sleeping," Emily managed, her voice trembling. He leaned closer, his eyes glinting with an unsettling intensity. "I just wanted to check on her. She didn't answer my text." The phone buzzed again in Emily's pocket, a malevolent reminder of Caleb's hold. With trembling hands, she silenced it. What do you want, Caleb? I just want to be with her, he purred, each word wrapping around her like a cold, creeping vine. You'd understand if you saw us together. The shadows of the porch deepened, and for a moment, Emily envisioned horror stories mixing with the truths buried in this boy's past. You need to go, she whispered, her strength almost evaporating. As you wish, he said, stepping back. But a dark chuckle bubbled up from his chest, one that sent a shiver down her spine. The way he turned away felt like a promise of something sinister yet to come. Emily slammed the door shut, heart thudding against her ribcage. She raced to Jamie's room, urgency driving her forward. The door swung open, and fear washed over her as she saw her daughter still sleeping, oblivious to the darkness prowling at their doorstep. Jamie! She called, shaking her daughter awake. Wake up! Jamie stirred, groggy and confused. What is wrong, Mom? Caleb was just here, Emily panted, battling against the urge to pull Jamie close, to protect her from the lure of that boy. He sent you a text. Do you understand? Jamie frowned, the innocence still clinging to her features. Mom, he's just a boy. No, Jamie, he's not just a boy. There's something wrong with him, something dangerous. You shouldn't be with him. Emily could feel the hysteria creeping in, clawing at her throat. No. You don't know him like I do. Jamie shouted, sitting up. You just don't want me to be happy. Happy? Emily's voice broke, each syllable like a shard of ice piercing the air. This is about your safety. The room filled with an oppressive silence. Jamie's eyes flickered with a blend of anger and hurt as she scrambled off the bed. I'm going to meet him. You can't keep me locked away. Jamie, please don't. Desperation surged, pushing Emily to reach for her daughter. The instant her fingers brushed Jamie's arm, a jolt of electricity shot through them both, just a flash, but it felt alive and warning. With a horrific gaze, Jamie pulled away. I'm going. You can't stop me. The fierce determination in her voice shattered Emily's heart. Without waiting for a response, Jamie dashed past Emily and out of the room. Fear spiraled into a vortex, drowning out her instincts. She followed, racing through the quiet of their home, down the darkened hall, and out into the night. Outside, thick fog wrapped around the street like a shroud. Emily's breath came in gasps as she scanned the void, searching for her daughter. Then, a shriek sliced through the stillness, a sound so raw it felt like the very essence of terror. Jamie! The scream echoed, swallowed by the suffocating fog. Emily stumbled forward, dread tripping her heart. There was no more time for reason, no time for hesitation. As she plunged into the thick mist, a figure loomed in the distance, dark and familiar. The ambient air crackled with tension. The light from her porch flickered in the periphery, illuminating their twisted shadows. Dread pooled in the pit of her stomach. Caleb, what have you done? The figure turned slowly, and the glint in his eye sent a chill rippling through her. She made her choice, Emily. Now, it's your turn. The darkness thickened, closing in around her, leaving no escape. Time began to stretch in a monstrous embrace as Emily realized she was tangled in something far beyond her comprehension, a sinister trap that threatened to consume them all. What would she be willing to sacrifice to save her daughter? Emily's heart raced as Caleb's shadow lengthened, enveloping her. The mist swirled around them, twisting like a living entity. She couldn't see Jamie, but she could feel her daughter's presence, an echo of fear hidden somewhere in that suffocating fog. Stop hiding, Emily. Caleb's voice coiled around her, unnatural and taunting. You're not the only one who can see the truth. Her mind reeled. What truth? The words clawed at her, sending a shiver through her spine. She had to find Jamie. Let her go, Caleb. The defiance in her voice barely masked her terror. You don't have to do this. Oh, but I do. He took a step closer, eyes shimmering like the shards of broken glass. It's already begun. Can't you feel it? The bond she's forged with me? It's stronger than anything you can imagine. The fog twisted tighter, stealing her breath. You're lying. You're manipulating her. Caleb laughed, a low, chilling sound that rolled through the mist. Manipulation? Or liberation? What have you taught her about love, Emily? Is it not the ultimate prison? Love doesn't look like this. She shouted, desperation lacing her voice. Then watch. With a sudden motion, he pointed into the depths of the fog. A flicker of movement caught her eye, Jamie's silhouette, darting away. No. Emily lunged forward, adrenaline surging. But the fog thickened, tendrils curling around her legs, pulling her back. She clawed at the air, her body heavy with dread. She fought against the darkness, her mind racing with the only thought that could anchor her, Jamie. Don't worry, Emily. Caleb's voice populated the space between them, calm and steady. I'll take good care of her. We're going to share a beautiful revelation. Emily pushed harder. She could hear Jamie now, a soft whimper. Panic shot through her like fire. Jamie. In that instant, she felt it, a pulse of energy, a bond tugging through the fog. The world outside static, the muffled sounds of her daughter reverberating against her heart. Hold on, Jamie. I'm coming. Let go, Emily, Caleb urged, frustration cracking his smooth facade. You're only slowing her down. With a final surge of will, Emily broke free from the suffocating fog. She stumbled forward, legs trembling, heart pounding against her chest as she broke through the last barrier of mist. The scene illuminated before her a small clearing where Jamie stood, eyes wide and terrified, surrounded by an energy pulsing with an otherworldly glow. Mom. Jamie's voice filled with wild panic. Caleb loomed behind her, a dark specter, his presence wrapping around them. You can't save her now. Emily took a step back, looking between her daughter and the threat that loomed like a storm cloud. Stay away from her. Caleb's laughter filled the air, mocking, reverberating through the trees. She has chosen me, Emily. You're too late. No. Jamie screamed. I was trying to. The air crackled, and the ground beneath them trembled. You have no idea what you're stepping into. Emily shouted, desperation mounting as the trees around them began to twist and shake. Suddenly, Caleb stepped forward, hands raised like a conductor guiding an unseen orchestra. An unsettling chill swept through the clearing, and the energy pulsing around Jamie intensified, sparking and flickering as if alive. Caleb. Emily pleaded, her voice slicing through the energy. You don't have to do this. The flicker caught Caleb's eyes, infusing them with a crazed glint. It's too late to turn back. In that moment, Emily knew she stood at a precipice, the line between protecting her daughter and losing everything blurred within the chaos. What will you give up, Emily? Caleb's voice slithered around her. What are you willing to sacrifice to keep her safe? The tension thickened, heavy like the fog draping the landscape. She felt the weight of a decision forcing its way to the surface, and fear clung to her like a second skin. Would she risk everything, even herself, to save Jamie? And then she saw a glimmer of something within the shadows. Hope. Or deception. Mom. Jamie's cry seemed to pierce the growing void. The question hung in the air as Emily took a breath, a choice teetering on the edge of destruction. Would she dare step into the darkness for her daughter? Emily inhaled sharply, her mind racing as she searched for any signs of hope amidst the swirling chaos. The energy flickered dangerously around Jamie, casting eerie shadows that danced like phantom figures. Every breath filled her with dread as she took a step forward, her resolve strengthening with each heartbeat. Jamie. She yelled, the name echoing through the clearing like a desperate prayer. Mom. Jamie's voice was a thread pulling her closer, but fear was a heavy shackle. Caleb's laughter resonated menacingly behind her, full of malice and certainty. Don't you see? She's chosen me, he taunted. You're just a memory now. Emily clenched her fists, furrowing her brows. The weight of Caleb's words bore down on her. She had to act fast. She couldn't let him twist Jamie's reality. The glow around her daughter pulsed, feeding Caleb's dark energy, and Emily's heart pounded like a war drum in her chest. "Jamie, listen to me," Emily shouted, trying to break through the haze that enveloped her daughter's mind. "You have the power to fight this." Caleb's expression shifted to irritation. "Fighting only leads to more pain, Emily. Why not give in? It's what she wants." His words were insidious, slithering into the air, wrapping around the space between them. Emily's skin crawled under the weight of his influence, and she could see Jamie's face sagging with confusion. "Mom." Jamie faltered, tears spilling down her cheeks, sparkling like tiny stars in the unnatural glow. "I'm scared." Caleb stepped closer, looming like a thundercloud. "Fear is a tool, Jamie. Embrace it. Your mother has held you back long enough." "Shut up." Emily spat, her voice cutting like glass. With each step Caleb took toward Jamie, Emily rushed forward, determined to break the grip of his words. She reached out, desperately wanting to feel Jamie's warmth, her strength. Their fingers brushed. At that moment, the energy erupted, a shockwave sending ripples through the clearing. The fog thinned for an instant, revealing a twisted landscape filled with sharp shadows and glimmering eyes watching from the trees. "Mom!" Jamie cried out again, stronger now, pushing back against the force that wanted to keep her bonded to Caleb. Emily's heart swelled with hope. "That's it, Jamie. Fight him. You're not alone." But Caleb didn't waver. "Your bond with her is weak, Emily. You taught her to fear love. And now, you must pay the price. Would you sacrifice yourself?" A chill ran through Emily, deep and visceral, piercing through the adrenaline. She locked eyes with Jamie, the fear etched across her daughter's face reflecting her own. "Do it, Jamie. Trust me," Emily yelled, grounding herself in that moment. With a sudden surge, Jamie pulled away, breaking Caleb's hold. The energy around her flickered, battling against the darkness. The cacophony of sounds cracking branches, whispers rose, threatening to drown them. "No!" Caleb roared, his voice a thunderclap. Suddenly, the clearing erupted in a blinding flash, blinding Emily momentarily. Darkness collapsed around them, swallowing everything but the touch of her daughter's hand. The ground trembled beneath their feet, fissuring like the first tremors of an earthquake. And then, silence. The air thickened, pressing against her like a vice as they stood hand in hand, waiting to see what would emerge from the obscurity, what they had unleashed in their fight. What dark secrets would come crawling back now that they had disrupted the fragile balance? Emily's heart raced in her ears. "Jamie? Are you okay?" But the answer lingered on the tip of her tongue, swallowed by the void that now surrounded them. The promise of safety felt elusive, like a mirage in the distance. "Mom?" Jamie whispered, fear resurfacing in her voice, trembling like a taut wire ready to snap. And as the shadows around them twisted and morphed, something terrible awakened. "Are they ready?" A voice hissed from the darkness, sharp and cruel. Emily's blood ran cold. Nothing would be easy now. They had crossed a line, ignited something buried. What had they disturbed? Would it be the ruin of them both? The air crackled with an uneasy energy, thickening like fog. Emily's pulse quickened, each beat echoing the fear spreading through her body. She tightened her grip on Jamie's hand, the warmth grounding her against the chill emanating from the shadows that writhed around them. "Mom, what's happening?" Jamie's voice trembled, a whisper caught in her throat. "I don't know," Emily replied, her voice strained. "But we need to stick together. Don't let go of me." The darkness shifted like a living thing, swirling into formations that seemed to mock their presence. Shapes loomed, flickering in and out of focus, each silhouette a reminder of Caleb's dark grip, taunting them. "Emily," the hissing voice echoed again, drawing nearer. "You've been so careless." From the gloom, a figure emerged, the outlines becoming sharper. It was not Caleb, but something far more sinister. Its eyes glowed a piercing yellow, reflecting a hunger that made Emily's stomach churn. "What is that?" Jamie gasped, eyes wide. Emily took a deep breath. Whatever it was, it exuded malevolence. "Keep moving, Jamie. We need to find a way out of here." As they started to back away, Emily felt the world shift underfoot. Each step felt like wading through murky water, dragging them down as the shadows pulled at them like hands yearning for their flesh. They had to escape this nightmare. The entity lunged forward, its form twisting and expanding, engulfing the space around them with a deafening silence. It seemed to absorb the light, plunging them into deeper darkness. "Mom!" Jamie cried, terror etched into her features. "Run!" Emily shouted. She turned, dragging Jamie with her as they sprinted through the oppressive haze. The ground felt uneven, roots and rocks threatening to trip them up, but they kept moving, heartbeats in sync with lingering dread. Suddenly, the creature's laughter fractured the air, chilling their bones. "Where do you think you're going? You can't escape what you've awakened." Emily glanced back, her breath coming in panicked gasps. "We have to find a safe place. Somewhere we can regroup. Over there." Jamie pointed towards a dim light flickering in the distance, trapped between two massive trees that stood like gatekeepers to a realm unknown. They dashed toward it, the shadows clawing at their heels, desperate to reclaim what they had almost escaped. As they neared the source of light, a ghostly glow enveloped them, revealing symbols carved into the trees. Ancient runes hummed with energy echoes of a long-lost warning. "Stay close, Jamie," Emily urged, her voice shaking. They stepped into the light, hoping for refuge. But the moment they crossed the threshold, the air froze, and everything shifted again. The darkness drew back, like a retreating predator but still malevolent, ready to pounce. "Why did you come here?" hissed the voice again from the shadows, filled with twisted delight. "You're simply repeating the mistakes of the past." The light around them flickered madly. The ancient runes exploded into a blinding flash, unfolding stories best left untold. Whispers transformed into anguished cries as the secrets of those who had come before began to weave through Emily's mind. "Mom, what did we release?" Jamie whimpered, her face pale. Before Emily could respond, a chilling laugh resonated around them, threading through the air. "There's no escape, and now you're part of my tale." And in that moment, the forest around them turned alive with echoes. Every tree, every shadow seemed to watch, hungry for more. They had not only disrupted the balance but also opened a door. What awaited them on the other side was a mystery that clawed at the edges of their sanity. "Who are you?" Emily demanded, desperation creeping into her voice. "An old friend," the voice whispered back, weaving through the branches, intensifying the flickering light around them. "But you will soon learn, friends can become enemies when shadows twist reality." Emily's heart sank. The warmth she so desperately needed was slipping. Would love still guide them or become the very trap that ensnared them? As the shadows lunged once more, an even darker truth lay waiting to be unraveled. What unimaginable horrors awaited them in this labyrinth of despair? The light pulsed and flickered, a heartbeat of desperate hope that was quickly smothered by the encroaching darkness. Emily felt its weight pressing down, suffocating her resolve. Shadows snaked around her, curling like smoke from a fire, ready to snatch away what little comfort remained. "Mom, I can't breathe," Jamie's voice quivered, a fragile thread pulling on Emily's consciousness. "Just hold on," Emily urged, desperation coloring her words. "We need to move," but the ground beneath their feet began to tremble, shifting like the restless sea. The ancient runes glowed with an angry light, reacting to the rising tension in the air, their meanings twisting into a chaotic dance of warnings and promises. An unyielding force surged from below, wrapping around Jamie's ankles like a vice. "Emily!" she screamed, her small body jerked back as if caught upon a hidden snare. "No!" Emily lunged forward, grasping Jamie's arm just in time, but the shadows morphed, stretching toward them in a relentless tide. The voices mocking, weeping, howling swept through the air, echoing in their ears and penetrating their minds. You cannot flee your fate. They taunted, each syllable a venomous whisper that wrapped around Emily's heart. Let her go. Panic ignited fire in Emily's veins. She pushed against the will of the shadows, her mind filled with vivid images of Caleb, those fleeting moments of pure terror and looming dread. You can't have her. I won't let you. With each frantic thought, the shadows recoiled, screeching their displeasure, but they pressed on, grasping at Emily's ankles, pulling her towards a dark hole that yawned wide like a monstrous maw ready to swallow them whole. Mom! Jamie cried again, her small face twisted in fear. I don't want to go in there. The flickering light from the runes seemed to shrink, sparking around them as shadows danced and the world twisted wildly. Trevor, the friend who had once shared laughter and dreams with them, his face flashed in her mind, distorted in shadow and fear. Was he ever really a friend? Emily thought, no longer sure. The forest shifted, morphing with the urgency of a living creature, its gnarled branches reaching towards them like skeletal hands. The curse will rip you apart. The voice shrieked, booming from nowhere and everywhere all at once. You can't change destiny. Please. Stop. Jamie cried, her face wet with tears. In that moment, Emily was struck with a revelation. The voices weren't just taunting them. They were warning them, trapped in cycles of revenge and despair. They want you too, she whispered, grappling with this haunting truth. But a sudden surge of determination sparked within her. Emily knelt before Jamie, their foreheads touching. We are not part of this. We will break this cycle. The hope in her heart ignited the symbols around them, grounding her against the storm of terror. And suddenly, the light erupted in a brilliant blaze, pushing back the encroaching shadows, at least for a moment. Run! Emily shouted, pulling Jamie towards the pulsing heart of the glowing symbols, reinforcing their path through the chaos. The shadows shrieked in agony, and the pressure fell from their chests as the light widened. It revealed a narrow passage beyond the trees, a way out, a flickering chance of salvation. But just as they turned, a figure emerged from the blackness. Its face was shrouded, yet Emily recognized those glowing yellow eyes. You think you can escape your past? The entity hissed, a sinister glee creeping into its voice. You will only find more darkness ahead. Emily halted, heart pounding, dread swelling in her throat. What do you want? She shouted. The figure leaned closer, drawn by the flickering light. To show you the truth, to reveal what purpose you serve in this game. With each word, the shadows curled tighter, suffocating around them once more. Emily's heart raced, smashing against her ribs in a frantic dance. She gripped Jamie's hand tighter, a surge of protectiveness emanating from a place deep within. They couldn't turn back now. But was forward truly an escape, or just another deadly game? Let us go. Emily shouted, adrenaline pumping. They burst through the passage, fleeing into unknown depths, knowing the shadows watched, waiting for another chance to strike. But what awaited them in the depths of the forest? Only a deeper darkness. Only their worst fears. The narrow passage closed in around them, the air thick with dread. Emily felt as if the walls themselves were alive, ready to crush her in their embrace. Every breath was laced with panic, each heartbeat a drum signaling her impending demise. She looked down at Jamie, whose small face was pale and stricken with fear. Keep your eyes on me, Emily commanded, squeezing Jamie's hand tighter as they stumbled deeper into the dark. The chilly breath of the shadows whispered secrets about to be unveiled. Mom, what if it's a trap? Jamie's voice trembled, cutting through the oppressive silence that followed them, heavy with menace. Emily forced a smile, though the corners of her mouth quivered. We'll find a way out, I promise. The words felt hollow even as they left her lips. The passage twisted and turned, as if mocking them with its chaotic layout. The ancient runes flickered sporadically, casting erratic shadows on the walls, which swirled like ink in water. Emily fought the urge to look back, knowing that doing so would only invite the shadows to take Jamie from her grasp. Suddenly, a sound echoed in the depth, a low growl that rumbled through the ground like a warning. Emily froze, dread settling like a weight on her chest. "We're not alone," she muttered. "Mom?" Jamie whispered, her voice barely reaching above a breath. "Keep moving," Emily urged, panic rising in her throat like bile. They hurried forward, the darkness swallowing their path with hungry whispers. A flash of movement caught her eye. Emily turned just in time to see something dart behind a tree, its form a twisted silhouette against the dim light. "Did you see that?" she whispered, heart racing. "What was that?" Jamie asked, her voice quivering. "It doesn't matter," Emily said, desperation sharpening her tone. "Just keep going." She, too, fought the instinct to look back. They were prey in a terrifying game, and the hunters were closing in. As they pressed on, the growls grew louder, a cacophony of snarls that echoed within the shadows. Emily's mind raced. Were they being pursued? Were the shadows hungry for what they could not have? "Mom! Look!" Jamie pointed ahead, her innocence stark against the encroaching sinister background. A glimmer of light flickered down another passage to the right. "There!" Emily shouted, her instincts kicking in. They veered towards the light, fueled by an adrenaline rush. As they moved forward, the shadows seemed to claw to keep them from reaching the beacon, stretching out like fingers desperate to grip them tightly. But as they neared the light, it morphed, revealing something blinking in and out of existence. It wasn't merely light, it was a gateway, shimmering with a deceptive allure. "Do we go through?" Jamie's eyes were wide, reflecting both fear and hope. Emily hesitated. There's no other choice. As they stepped closer, a piercing scream echoed through the trees, filled with unbearable agony. The hairs on Emily's arms stood on end. "Go. Now." But just as they surged forward, the very fabric of the world around them began to collapse. Trees buckled, shadows shrieked in frustration, and the light dimmed, spiraling down to a single point. Emily reached for the gateway, fingers grazing its edge as Jamie tumbled forward. "Mom, help." "No." The scream tore from Emily's throat as she lunged, grabbing Jamie's arm at the last second. They tumbled into the light, but it wouldn't let them in. The shadows writhed, and the cries of the damned filled the air, drowning out their desperate breaths. Suddenly, everything went still. The world shifted, and Emily found herself laying flat on cold, hard ground. The light had vanished, leaving them in a deserted space, lit only by the eerie glow of the symbols that surrounded them. But they were no longer in a passage. Emily could feel the ancient force humming beneath her. "What just happened?" Jamie whispered, her small voice trembling. Emily's heart sank as she looked around, the darkness shifting like a tide, swirling with whispers of betrayal. She steadied her breath, taking a step back. "What did we find?" As they stood in the ancient ruins, a flicker of recognition ignited in Emily's memory. The symbols writhed, whispering secrets that echoed from a time long past. Was this place the key? And was she ready to uncover the truth they had been running from? "Mom," Jamie said softly, and the weight in her voice covered the stillness like a shroud. Before Emily could respond, a familiar laughter echoed through the ruins, light, innocent, and utterly twisted with darkness. A voice from the past, a reminder of everything she was trying to escape. The walls closed in again. "Welcome back," it taunted, bringing with it the weight of unresolved secrets and fears that threatened to consume them whole. Emily turned, dread pooling in her stomach. No, not now. But the shadows lurked with anticipation, reveling in her fear. And then she saw the runes shift, spelling out, all debts must be repaid. What had they truly stumbled upon? The air was thick now, pulsing with ancient energy that felt both intoxicating and terrifying. Emily's heart pounded in rhythm with the whispers around her, each syllable tinged with an urgency that made her skin crawl. She pulled Jamie closer, the little girl's body shaking, her breath quickening in silent fear. "Emily," the voice continued, weaving through the stones, reverberating as if the very ground they stood upon thirsted for their attention. "You cannot escape what was once yours." What did it mean? Jamie's small voice cut through the tension as her wide eyes darted around. What does it want? Before Emily could answer, the shadows erupted. They twisted, spiraling around them like a tempest, a dark dance of forms obscured in obscurity. The laughter echoed again, playful yet sinister, igniting a cold sweat along Emily's back. The memory of what she had lost rushed back, a love once strong, now warped into a haunting echo. Step forward, Emily, the disembodied voice beckoned, closer now, teasing her with the memories she tried to forget. You owe a debt far greater than you realize. No, Emily breathed, inching backward instinctively. The walls glimmered with runes shifting rhythmically to reveal fragments of her past faces, moments of joy, tainted now by regret. Mom, I'm scared. Jamie cried, grabbing her tight. Stay close. Emily snapped, her eyes locked on the pulsing patterns of light and shadow. They were drawing nearer, avid for her response, her fear fueling the energy that bound them. Then, through the gnashing shadows, a figure emerged, familiar yet grotesque. Look at me, Emily. Look at what you've created. She gasped, recoiling. It was her own reflection, twisted by bitterness and sorrow, eyes hollow and mouth curled into a cruel smile. What have you done? Emily whispered, aghast. Only what you allowed, the specter replied, its voice a symphony of sorrow and menace, overlapping as memories replayed. Each choice, each sacrifice has brought you here. You chose, Emily, and now, it's time to accept the consequences. No, I didn't. She protested, but deep inside, she felt the truth sink in. The guilt, the choices. Each one like a stone weighing down her spirit, dragging her into the depths of darkness. Travel deeper with us, the figure urged, extending a bony hand. Relive them all. Share the burden. Emily blurred between defiance and despair. I want. I refuse to be a part of this. But the walls shuddered as her voice rose, and in that single moment of resistance, the runes flared brightly, filling the cavern with blinding light. Mom! What's happening? Jamie screamed over the chaos, panic lacing her voice. Emily clutched Jamie tightly. Hold on to me. Don't let go. But as the light enveloped them, the shadows erupted with raw fury. They slashed at her vision, clawing at her resolve with vicious whispers that clawed deeper into her psyche. Feel your debts, Emily, and then, the ground shook violently. The archways groaned as if protesting their presence. Old stones cracked, revealing gaping chasms filled with darkness that beckoned to them, a churning mass of secrets begging to be unleashed. Don't look down, Jamie. Emily shouted, her heart racing wildly. She felt the pull of the darkness, a terrible weight threatening to draw them in. The spectre's laughter cut through her as they hovered on the brink of an abyss. What do we do? Jamie's trembling question pierced the chaotic air. Only one escape lay ahead through the maw of their haunting past. We face it together, Emily said, determination firming her voice. That brief flicker of hope illuminated her resolve, and they took a step toward the abyss. But suddenly, a thunderous roar erupted behind them, shaking the earth. You cannot run. The past will always find you. Emily spun around, heart in her throat. The shadows clawed closer, their whispers morphing into a deafening roar. Would they survive whatever lay ahead, or would the past seize them completely? Mom! Jamie's eyes filled with terror, and time froze as the darkness surged forward, clawing for release. A chilling urgency gripped Emily's chest. This was no mere trap, it was a reckoning. And just as the darkness engulfed them, she locked eyes with Jamie. No matter what, we stick together. But the abyss loomed, and their choice was about to echo for eternity. What awaited them on the other side? Emily felt the ground tremble beneath their feet as the darkness surged, a living entity hungry for revenge. The shadows clawed at her, whispering secrets and regrets she dared not acknowledge. Each whisper chipped away at her resolve, revealing the frailty of her choices. They were more than just echoes, they were sharp reminders of her failures, tangled memories of lost love and forsaken promises. Hold on tighter, Jamie, she urged, her voice strained as she searched for clarity amidst the chaos. The little girl clung to her, eyes wide and filled with terror, the innocence within threatened by the choking darkness that enveloped them. In a dizzying rush, they were pulled into the folds of shadows, the world around them shifting violently. The air grew damp and cold, enveloping them like a shroud. The laughter of the specter echoed again, each guffaw a taunt that ricocheted through the darkness. You thought you could outrun your past? How naive. Where are we? Jamie cried, her voice cracking as she peered into the swirling void. It felt alive as if the very darkness was wriggling with thoughts and desires, hungry for their fear. I don't know. Emily screamed, panic surging through her. But we have to keep moving. She pushed forward, dragging Jamie along, feeling the weight of the shadows pressing against them. Each step was a battle, each breath a prayer that they wouldn't be swallowed whole. Suddenly, the void thickened, and the ground beneath them shifted again, a violent convulsion that sent them tumbling down a sloped passageway. They landed harshly, the cold stone biting at their skin. As they scrambled to their feet, the light flickered, revealing a grim sight. A vast hall stretched before them, adorned with grotesque carvings, each one depicting scenes of torment, faces twisted in despair. The runes pulsed angrily, feeding off the dread that seeped through every pore of Emily's skin. What is this place? She whispered, horrified. It looks like memories. Jamie said, her voice barely above a whisper. The carvings were vivid, almost lifelike, showing moments of pain that felt achingly familiar. A broken heart, tears, abandonment. Emily's breath hitched as she recognized the sorrow painted on the walls, a reflection of her life, her burdens. Time to choose, Emily, the specter's voice echoed, deeper now, reverberating within her bones. Relive them. Accept them. Or be forever lost in your own making. No. I want tea. She squeezed Jamie's hand tighter, but the shadows were relentless, slithering up her arms as if trying to drag her towards the memories. The hall vibrated with their whispers. You abandoned us. You let him go. With each whisper, another image burst into view. A scene where she turned away from the lover who called her name, drowning in her own fear and indecision. Another where a friend stood at the edge of betrayal, her unspoken words suffocating the space between them. Mom! Jamie cried. It's too much. We need to get out of here. Focus on me. Emily shouted, her heart racing faster than ever before. She could feel the darkness growing heavier, aiming for their grasp, for their very essence. But before she could think, a blinding light erupted in the center of the chamber, illuminating the grotesque figures. Faces she once knew were now twisted in agony. This is what you've allowed. They screamed. No. Emily roared back, voice trembling with defiance. Yet she recognized the truth in every word. Each loss had chipped away her heart, shaping her choices, and now they demanded her attention. The shadows surged forward, eager to drag them into the depths. Mom, it's coming. Jamie cried, trembling in fear. They were ensnared, hemmed in by memories that clawed at them, and desperation ignited in Emily's chest. We can't let them in. We fight this together. Emily shouted, feeling the warmth of Jamie's small hand wrapped in hers. As they stood facing the oncoming storm of twisted memories, the air crackled with charged energy. The shadows loomed, their whispers turning into a deafening roar, reaching for the still raw wounds of her heart. But in that moment, a flicker of recognition struck Emily, an ember of strength ignited within her. She could either succumb or reclaim the threads of her fragmented past. What do we do? Jamie's voice quaked. Emily's jaw tightened. We face the past. We let it see the light of our truth. As they braced for the inevitable, the light flickered dangerously, their fate just beyond the horizon. Would they confront what haunted them, or would they be lost within the very darkness they feared? A shudder coursed through the hall as the shadows howled louder, and the pulse of the cavern quickened. It's time, the specter's voice whispered, chilling them to the bone. The abyss awaited, and with it, the choice that would seal their fate. Would they find their redemption, or would they succumb to the terror that stalked their souls? Emily took a deep breath, steadying herself against the rising tide of shadows. The whispers clawed at her thoughts, pulling at the seams of her sanity. Memories flickered before her eyes like a movie reel gone haywire: her past, her decisions, the haunting echoes of love lost and friendships betrayed. But now, standing here with Jamie, she knew there was only one way forward. Together, she said firmly, squeezing Jamie's hand. We face this. The shadows hissed like 1,000 angry serpents, their frustration escalating as they charged toward them. But Emily stood her ground, the warmth of Jamie's presence solidifying her resolve. No more running. We are not your prisoners. The moment her words fell into the chaotic air, a brilliant light erupted from within, an inner flame ignited by the bond of their shared strength. They would not be defined by the darkness of their past. They held the power to rewrite their story. Mom. I feel it. Jamie exclaimed, her face lit with determination. The energy pulsing around them transformed into a shield, pushing back the shadows that encroached upon them. The whispers became less a cacophony, more a chorus of shouts, pierced by memories that fought against their newfound conviction. Stand tall, Jamie. Emily shouted as they pushed through the roiling mass of resentment, doubt, and fear. We can do this. The looming shadows paused, caught off guard by their unexpected rebellion. Emily focused on the figures etched into the walls, the twisted faces who had once been her friends, family, and lovers, all bearing expressions of hurt. I see you. I acknowledge your pain. She shouted, her voice resonating through the chamber. But you do not control me. I am here with my daughter, and we are done letting the past dictate our future. With every phrase, the light emitted from them grew stronger. The shadows writhed, shrieking at the rejection of their hold. Shattering echoing through the hall as their pain was acknowledged, but not absorbed. Fissures appeared in their forms, as if unveiling remnants of a truth buried underneath layers of grief and betrayal. Jamie stepped forward, her small stature imbued with an undeniable force. You can't take my mom. We're done being scared. You can't keep holding on to us. Both echoes clashed, the shadows reared back, currents of darkness ebbing and flowing like a dark tide receding from the shore. The energy radiating from Emily and Jamie formed an inescapable barrier, each heartbeat surrounding them with a bright, confident light. As if sensing their power, the specter materialized again, vibrating with malevolence. You think you can redefine the past? You are fools. It will always haunt you. Emily concentrated her energy, pushing fear aside. We are not fools. We are reclaiming what was stolen from us: our voices, our choices, our hope. The specter laughed sinisterly, brushing the love and laughter they had once shared with a flick of the wrist. But its laughter faltered, replaced by a growing disbelief as Emily and Jamie pressed deeper into the remnants of their shared courage, blazing bright against the shadow's darkness. Awake, Emily. It hissed, a shriek of desperation piercing the air. Face the truth and the burden of your betrayal. No. Emily shouted defiantly. We don't carry your burdens anymore. We have chosen to move forward. Life is filled with pain, but it's also filled with moments of joy, love, and hope, and we are ready to embrace that. With that declaration, the air exploded with brilliance. Light flooded the hall, illuminating every twisted memory etched in dark stone. The faces contorted in anguish slowly shifted, morphing into expressions of understanding, flickers of warmth. In a sweeping wave, the shadows recoiled, their hold shattering like glass. A rush of wind enveloped Emily and Jamie, spiraling them upward, lifting them clear of the prison the darkness had bound them to. As the eerie chill receded, the remnants of the entity faded back into the depths from which they came, its essence dissipating like fog in the morning sun. They were left standing in peace, the ancient runes now glowing softly, no longer menacing but guiding a manifestation of their reclaimed strength. Mom? Jamie whispered, eyes wide. The panic that had gripped her face melted away, replaced by a breath of wonder. Did we do it? Emily knelt before her, tears of relief streaming down her cheeks. Yes, sweetie. We did it together. We chose to fight for our future. The two embraced, holding tightly amidst the ruins. The heavy weight of the past was gone, leaving behind the promise of a new dawn. Emily glanced around, the light of hope illuminating the path ahead. They would carry their lessons without being shackled by them, ready to face whatever came next. And as they walked out of the shadows, hand in hand, the laughter that once echoed in the dark transformed into a sweet melody of rebirth. Their journey would not be without challenges, but it was now theirs to navigate, filled with the memories of love, hope, and an unbreakable bond. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. And please, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share.